So I just thought that would be a good idea for me to, because I want to sort all the books that I have into the bookshelf. I thought that it's a good idea to share the books that I've read, that I want to read, and hopefully inspire somebody. And probably I can recommend books to some people, hopefully, but I also want to share with you all the kind of books that I'm reading and probably tell some story behind them. I'll see. But I have got all of these. It's been a while since I've been reading. So I'm glad that I connected with my books. You see, the universe knows it's what I'm doing. I needed to connect with reading. I've been having bad anxiety and I had been so long since I've been reading or anything. But also because I'm very busy. Yeah, sit back and enjoy. Right, well, I've got my green tea. Thank you for your company, just like to start with, because it's very hard and difficult. It's been very depressing. And anyways, you can go to my website and support me, help me by buying anything. I offer a lot of things, from fashion accessories to artworks to love letters that I write by hand, and I decorate with stickers that I bought. And yeah, I've got fashion accessories made by hand from scratch, etc, etc. Yeah, go see my website and explore your options, because there are so many affordable stuff for everybody who have different kind of budgets. Anyways, it's gonna help me with my healing journey. It's been hard. It's been very, very hard. Things are gonna get better. Anyways, so let's talk about the books. I have assorted them into different categories. The categories are going to be basically books to do with like a script of a play, poetry, stuff like that. There's this category, there's another category for fictions, another category for non-fiction plus self-help books, and the books to do with education, stuff like that. That's pretty much it. There's also like the miscellaneous collection. You can understand as I go. These two books don't have really a category. These are just quotes from, yeah, they're just like quote books that I haven't finished reading. Stuff like that, you see, just like a lot of quotes. If you can focus, doesn't want to focus. Yeah, but anyways, quotes to do with the books, to do with poetry, to do with life, stuff like that. But this one especially, it's about book lovers and about book inspirational quotes. I'll tell you an example. No two persons ever read the same book. It basically means like people have different personalities. A book is the only place in which you can examine a fragile thought without breaking it. Exactly. And now I remember why I loved reading. It's so you get so deep into a thought without breaking it. Wow, that's awesome. So yeah, you get the idea. I haven't read these, so I'm gonna put them on the side. I'm not gonna put them on the shelf. Next would be, this is also another one. This is just like a literary terms. So it's in a dictionary, but for literary words. So I've got this one, and I've got, where's the other one? Like the Japanese language one as well. Yeah, here. This is a Japanese dictionary as well, because I was studying Japanese. But as you see right now, I'm so depressed that I'm not reading anything. They've been sitting around. But basically I've lost purpose for like learning anything at this point. But I'm healing and I need your help in my healing journey. Anyways, these are the books on the side because I haven't finished reading. This also I haven't finished reading, so it's gonna go on the side. These are Arabian Nights book that I got online. This is like probably the priciest, most expensive copy you can find online. I bought it even before going homeless. I used to spend a lot of money for nonsense. But yeah, as you can see, it's like the edges of each page is even from gold. And you can see the actual paintings or drawings, artworks, illustrations of each story. And actually I made my own. You can go to my website and get your own Arabian Nights little catalog that I made, which is basically has all of these artworks. So if you want a book that's like have all of these artworks, you can go to my website. It's really cheap, and I really saturated and made these colors more vibrant, so you can go check that out on my website. It's called Arabian Nights Resurrected. So yeah, that's a book I made by actually literally scanning these and saturating them basically. Yeah, so I haven't finished this. I'm gonna put it on the side as well. There's this one. Every time I'm reading, I'm feeling better. How to Win Friends and Influence People. I've been stuck with this book because I've been really depressed, and when I read things to do with inspiring others, when I don't feel inspired myself, I can't continue reading. Like, I don't feel right. So So I can't focus. That's why I'm stuck and I'm not reading anything else, because I'm stuck with this book and it's to do with inspiration and I'm depressed. But it's getting better. And it's really hard when I read things about how to influence others or make friends and I'm just like depressed. Like there's no money to go inspire others or make friends. But I'm trying to get, art opportunities, my story. Anyways, it doesn't matter. If you want to really help me, you can go to my website and get something. And this is going to go also on the side. There's this book that I bought. It was Snowing Butterflies. So this book is written by Charles Darwin. He was like so into butterflies, and he went to, I haven't finished reading, I haven't read it, I think. What I know from the story, I think he went somewhere and he saw butterflies and he was so impressed that he started writing about butterflies or something. But the reason I got this book is because I've been writing a novel about, beautiful novel about two ballroom dancers, like gays. They fall in love with each other. At least one of them falls in love with another guy. And that one other guy, he's so, not weird, but so mysterious. And he has like a secret office behind a bookshelf. He lives in an apartment that when you get inside the apartment, you actually see like it's basically like a mansion of an apartment. It's a beautiful novel that I'm writing. That's been also waiting, sitting on the side. And he's so into butterflies, and he has butterflies as well, like a secret butterfly little garden of sorts. I don't want to ruin it, but it's a beautiful novel. It's to do with this mysterious guy, and it's it's also over 18 novel. Like it's really, really, really good. It's very, very dark as well, but it's very sexual. It's really good, and it's one of the novels that I really, really want to finish one day. But it's gonna take a while because it's the best, basically, novel I've ever written, and I'm not joking by saying that. I really worked out so much in it. But anyways, there's so many novels, and yes, I got It Was Snowing Butterfly because I wanted to get ideas for that character who has butterflies. Okay, now finished with the ones on the side, or the last one. There's this book that I got when I was in a course for room attending, because I wanted to be working in a hotel, and they were giving us like free gifts, and they gave me this copy of a book called Looking After Your Mental Health. But it was really good. Like when I used to read it, it's really, really, really easy to read. There's like this page says, why me? If you ever get bullied, you might find yourself wondering why the bully or bullies are picking up on me. Some victims of bullying start to blame themselves. Literally me right now. You see, it's already like making wonders on me. However, it is always the bully's fault. Some people are bullied about their looks, exactly, their sexuality, exactly, their race, exactly, their religion, how clever they are, where they live, how much money they have. But it's never really because of these things. It's about the bully. Coping with bullying. Sharing what you're going through with an adult you trust is a good first step. You see, they say adult because this book was actually written for like people who are not like teenagers, like people who are not adults yet. And even though we are adults, it's helping us. So it's a really good book. I haven't finished reading it as well, so I'm probably gonna put it on the side. I feel like it's gonna do me good right now, so I'm going to actually read it like tonight, someone. There's also another book on the side. This is the last book on the side, I promise. It's been reading, but I also stopped 1Q84. For those who don't know, this is like a Japanese novel by Haruki Murakami. He was fascinated by 1984, which I definitely have finished reading, and he was so interested in it, or he was so inspired by it. He put 18Q4. So basically, Q in Japanese actually means 9. So 1984. So yeah, it's really great when you know like other languages. It really comes handy. But I literally just stopped here. You know how long it's been? I used to always do that. I used to read books outside and then grab present, basically a souvenir. This is like an actual real autumn leaf. So yeah, I picked it up and I put it as a bookmark, and it's been there for a while, and I love it. I remember like I was really enjoying it, but as I said, I've been stuck with How to Influence People, a book, But I'm really glad that I reconnected. I really needed that. I really needed to reconnect with my writer self, because I feel like I was being led astray, and like becoming really angry. Anyways, books on the side finished. Now, which ones should we go next? The last thing I'm gonna show you is the books that I haven't read. I'm gonna show you all the books that I've read. So let's do the fiction actually, because they are the most that I have. Or should we make the fiction last? Actually, non-fic is just a small group, just like these books. Talk about them real quick. Oh my goodness, if you haven't read this, In Order to Live, it's about a North Korean defector or escapee. And it's a beautiful book. Like, if you haven't read that, what are you doing with your life, man? By a North Korean girl's journey. And it's really, really raw. Actually, by reading this book, I was like, people are not joking, and I'm not joking telling you after reading this as well. It's hard to put it down, because everything is so connected. It's so interesting. And it's even, oh my goodness, in the middle, it has actual photos. Like from her childhood in North Korea, guys. It's a beautiful fucking book. Look how sad. Oh my goodness. And the story about her father, it's the most heartbreaking story ever. Like I was reading her story, and I'm just like, and it's not only me that went through pain. There are people who went through even worse pain. But oh my goodness, her father, the story is so heartbreaking. Yeah, in the end, like, she was actually separated from her mother and sister. And in the end, look, they got together. It's a beautiful story, and you can see pain in their eyes. It's really, really crazy story. It's like the mother was raped in front of her, shit like that. It's really, really dark. But it's a very good fucking book. Yeah, In Order to Live by You Park. I love her because, you see, people always like say, oh, if you're a writer, you have to be appropriate and blah, blah, blah. She's awesome because, like, she's a writer, and she's like a human rights advocate, and she goes like to speeches and goes to interviews and everything. But as well, when she's like posting things on Instagram, she sometimes also like enjoys her sexuality. Like, she would you know, post things like, you know, cleavage and stuff. She does whatever the fuck she wants, and I love it. There are a lot of haters, obviously, but like, fuck you, you know, like, just be yourself. You see like how cool it is? It's like you can be yourself, and you also can be whoever you want to be. Dream harder. But yeah, this is book number 1. Book number 2, Ikigai. Ikigai is like the Japanese secret to long and happy life. I finished reading this, and I was feeling so good about myself. Look how pretty. You see, Japanese books are always so pretty. But yeah, basically, it's a book that tells you how to be like happy, and the Japanese way to be happy. Basically, what I got from this book is basically, I'm so happy, like I'm doing so great, and the only thing that I need is a support group. Every time that I feel depressed, I remember this book and another Japanese book, and I'm like, that's what's missing from my life: support group and prosperity. But yeah, anyways, it tells you like 4 things that you need, and then you will have an Ikigai. And it's good, so good. It's actually one of these, I think it's actually the reason why I wanted to live my dream and start my, you know, fashion business and art business. But yeah, Ikigai. I'm probably gonna also put the list down below just in case somebody wants to read. Or Elon Musk. This is a biography, so basically it's about Elon Musk, but written by someone else. But yeah, good book as well. Text tells you about when he was little, how his like life was like, why did he become the person that he is today. It's really, really good book. Actually, very inspiring and very, very funny. And it's kind of, I don't know, like since childhood, it already tells you like his parents are rich and how his life was like, and they were like in a private jet and stuff, which is bizarre but also interesting. I finished that book, thick, so I was very proud that I finished it. The next book could be Anne Frank, Diary of a Young Girl. If you also haven't read that book, what are you doing with your life? It's basically a copy of a diary of a girl, Jewish girl, back in the World War II. It's so sad because she ended up actually in the camp. I forgot what you call it. The Holocaust. I forgot. But yeah, she actually was, in the end, was found there. Like, she died there, which is sad. But her diary, oh my goodness, like, she's talking about how one day she's gonna grow up and become a famous writer. Her dream became true, guys. Even so, she never knows about it, but she's such a good writer. It's a beautiful fucking book. And it talks about like how they were like hiding somewhere, and how life was so sad. They were fighting about food, and just like life is so boring and repetitive. It was like basically like living in lockdown, but even worse, like hardly any food, there's always fear, and it's really, really bad. But yeah, she was talking about how there's like problems happening, and then she was still so positive and optimistic, and so there were like a lot of places, like parts when it gets really, really dark, which is very interesting, like to see a child talking about these dark things, about death. It's so fucking sad, but beautiful, beautiful, beautiful book. And her way of speaking is so fucking good. She was so much more mature for her age. Beautiful book. It's so sad because like the last pages just, let me see what the last page year was, and you can see like the date for each part. It's so sad. August 1st, 1944. That's before they got caught, before they were found and taken to the camp. It's so sad, guys. It's a beautiful fucking book, and they actually made a movie out of it. It's really sad. And I remember that the story was like her father actually found out about the diary and made the book. He found the diary, like he went back to where they used to live. I think the only one who survived, and then he found the diary and he fell to his knees, and he basically read every page, and then he was crying. He couldn't believe it, like he didn't know about this whole journal, and now it's a book. Anne Frank, The Diary of a Young Girl. She was actually a woman inside. The next book is also beautiful and inspirational. It was written, Girl in the Dark. It was written by a girl who had her life so normal. She was living a normal life, going to work and everything, buying coffee and stuff. But her life was deteriorating because she was starting to have this weird disease where she can't be in light. Like she would burn, like her skin would burn, she would get sick. She can't be in light. She had always have to be in the dark. And it's so sad. It's so dark. It talks about how life had been gradually getting worse, how her life changed, how she had to live with closed doors, like black, like everything is so dark in curtain and stuff. And to waste her time, she always listened to podcasts, just like in the dark. And how she wrote the book, I think that she actually recorded her own voice and then they made the book. I think that's what it was, because she didn't write it actually. She told the story. It's so sad. It's such a sad book, but it's very inspiring for somebody who, have got everything, like have a healthy life and everything. But it's a beautiful book as well. There's like a lot of dark parts where I remember there's like one specific moment when she said she wanted to go to the kitchen, but she was so done and like so bored and depressed with life that she imagined that she has a sword or she has a knife or something, and she falls on it samurai and dies samurai style. That's how dark it got. But yeah, beautiful book. Girl in the Dark with small letters. Beautiful, by Anne Lindsay. I'm gonna put it down there as well. Last 3 to go. The Subtle Art for Not Giving a Fuck. If you don't know this book, so this writer is also a YouTuber and a podcaster, and he still makes inspirational podcasts and videos, and he got some videos that went viral sometimes. You might have actually watched one of his videos without you knowing that he's the author of The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. I remember that I enjoyed this book, but in the end, for some reason, I was like, what? Looked like I was hanging. Like I was reading it to get inspired, and in the end, I didn't, actually my depression came back. I don't remember why and what happened, but I think that in the end, I felt like I didn't learn anything, or probably because I've learned so much, and in the end, I was just like, I don't know, I don't remember what, but there's something that didn't make me enjoy it, or because back then, I was such a goody and I didn't like the word fuck. I used to always be like, oh, why do like writers nowadays use this word? I was just like basically like a boomer. I was like, when I was young, I was actually like a boomer. And yeah, I was upset. I think that's what happened. Probably I was just angry about the book. But it's a beautiful book. Yeah, it's just very funny. And it's also very confronting because like he talks about how his friend committed suicide, how he was wanted like to jump off a cliff, also dark stuff. This beautiful funny book, not funny, but I find it funny because it's fun. Stephen Hawking Brief answers to the big questions. It's a beautiful book. So let me tell you the questions. Is there a God? How did it all begin? Can we predict the future? What is inside the black hole? Is there other intelligent life in the universe? Will artificial intelligence outsmart us? How do we shape the future? Will we survive on Earth? Should we colonize space? Is time travel possible? Beautiful book. I forgot a lot of things, but it's very, very interesting. Oh, actually, I remember that the intro was written by this actor, great actor. What is his name? Eddie Redmayne or something. Interesting. Like I find it how, because he's a very eloquent guy, actor, and it's very interesting for me. Like he actually wrote the introduction of this book. But yeah, he's Eddie Redmayne or something. But anyways, this is also a beautiful book. I've never actually seen. Yeah, that's how it looks like. But this is the cover. But this is it. Last book, The Courage to Be Disliked, also written by Japanese writer. Basically, this is takes you through a conversation between a philosopher and a young person, and it's very, very funny, but in a very, very interesting way. So in the start, it's always like the young guy always argues with the philosophers, just like basically, for example, oh, you say it's easy to be happy, that's impossible, blah, blah, and they would argue back and forth. It's very, very funny, but also like the philosopher gives a lot of advice and gives a lot of examples, but I don't know how to describe it, but it's really, really funny. And sometimes there's a lot of things, like sometimes it goes around, like the youngster sometimes would be just like, I caught you, you said like that, like that, like that, but it doesn't make sense. It's just really, really funny. And then in the end, the youngster became friends with him. They became actually friends, which is very interesting. But another thing I also learned from this book, I need a support group, but this is where I actually was able to be myself and start the serious dream speedrun, because the courage to be disliked. That's why I was also able to go out for a run and starting to be like, it's okay to be disliked, because like if you want to live, you need the courage to be disliked, and right now I need it again. So I'm really glad that this came back. Anyways, so let me finish. I know that's it's very, very short, because like this doesn't really need to be explained. So these are all poetry, as I said, and yeah, basically poetry books, and a playwright, I think it's called, finally remember. But yeah, this one is from an actually Kuwaiti Arabian poet, and she's actually very open-minded, and she had an interview with me. You can find the interview in my interview playlist, I believe. But yeah, she is a human rights activist, and she's with LGBTQ community, and yeah, she's very open-minded. But yeah, this is her book, also self-published book, Nujud al-Yaqut, and there's another book of hers somewhere. But yeah, that's a poetry book. This is another poems. I think, I forgot, I think it's to do with World War II or something. This is another poems, I think also to do with, I don't remember. I forgot the story with this. But also it's a poetry book of sorts. And this is also a poetry book, but it's from an Arabian, Kuwaiti. This is the only Arabian book I've ever got, because I've never actually read a book, Kuwaiti book, Arabian book, a modern book, that I actually felt that I can actually relate to, enjoy, basically, because all the Arabian books are just to do with like always, religion, but this is great book because there's hardly anything to do with God. It's just literally thoughts. Let me tell you something. An example, I don't know if it's the same in English, but like usually when you see a car, at least in the Arabic countries, when you see a car, there's always like in the below somewhere, it says, for example, 2 ton, which means like ton is like basically tells you how heavy, how much weight this car can carry, basically. So yeah, it says, for example, like 5 kilograms, something like that, okay? So he was talking about how he was like in the traffic light, and he was just looking at all of these cars, different weights, just like says 5 kilograms, 10 kilograms, and he's just thinking, oh, this is how much worries and problems and pains each drivers have, the owner of each car. How beautiful is that? That's where I was like, I need to get this book. But yeah, it's a beautiful book. I need more Arabic book, but this is what I'm worried about. All Arabic book has to do with religion. Like, I'm not enjoying it. I don't have a religion. Like, I'm atheist. I see the things in scientific ways. But anyways, it doesn't matter. But yeah, that's that poetry book. These two are both playwrights. Finished with them. So I think this is a short story. Yeah, this is a short story. I don't know why I put it. So this is fiction. But anyways, this is a play. Yeah, this is a play. And I think I watched this play actually on YouTube in the end. But the first book I've ever read when I was homeless, actually the first poetry book even that I read. So the first two books that I read was this one, and then Animal Farm, because my English was so bad. So for those who don't know, I graduated from English literature because I wanted to become a writer, and I'm still working on it. Still working on my books. So actually I do have my books already out there, but I graduated with the English literature for creative writing, and I have this whole actual. I studied literally editing and styling. This is literally the style manual, like how to actually create a fucking book. Literally tells you, and like everything. And this explains why my books are so professional looking, because I studied, because I know how. And yeah, so, but I didn't actually I didn't take reading seriously until after graduation when I went homeless. That's when I started reading Animal Farm, because it was easy read, and it was like it was short, and I wanted to read something easy. It was actually difficult for me to a point, like, I'm gonna show you later when I find it. But the amount of underlined words, so that's where I really wanted to be. Like, I really wanted to read and become a better writer. So, oh my goodness, like I was stopping I couldn't enjoy the book because I was stopping every sentence, like 3 words, 2 words in a row. And just like, I had to look for the meaning. I have to look for the meaning. Sometimes I don't understand the meaning. It was so difficult. And I'm going to show you later. But throughout homelessness, that book took probably weeks. But right now, if I read it, probably 2 hours. But it's very interesting. Like right now, especially if I look at the words and just like right now I understand them. I can just like I can understand the whole sentence. But before it was very difficult for me. But I'm gonna show you later Animal Farms. But yeah, let me talk about this. This is a poetry book by the Crazy Wisdom, Chongyam Trungpa, his name is. Timely Rain. This guy is called the Crazy Wisdom because he writes poems. Look how like there's always like underlined words. Underline. Look how much like underlying, because I didn't know. I wanted to be such a good reader. Fucking crazy. Look, even Silk Road. I even put like what Silk Road is because I didn't know that. It's fucking crazy. Oh my goodness. It looks like a herd of sheep. I put like an underline below herd and just like flock of sheep. Rome. Oh my god, like Rome. Rome as in like, wander. I didn't understand. I've put literally 3 different meanings to Rome. Oh my goodness, that's how bad it was. Oh my goodness. Even Brooks, like in Brooks, I put the meaning in Arabic, which is hilarious. Crazy. Oh my goodness, I understand all of this right now. Every word that I was underlying. But anyways, yeah, he's a Crazy Wisdom because his poems are hilarious. He literally have a poem somewhere to do with going to the toilet and looking at the poo in like the toilet paper. And he literally inspired me on how to write poetry freely without like people have to be like, oh no, you have to be like, oh, etiquette, blah blah blah. Shut the fuck up. It's yeah, poems like whatever you're feeling, like within, it doesn't fucking matter, bish. Really funny. And it's a great book. He's a Crazy Wisdom because I remember even like if you look at his lectures, I think you find on YouTube, people are always laughing, like he's such a funny guy. And I'm trying to find the poo. Oh my goodness, look at this. Basically I was studying the whole fucking page. But yeah, I'm not gonna bore you, but this is it. Timely Grandpa, hilarious poetry book. It's great and inspired me to write poetry when I was homeless. It's such a great introduction to poetry as well, because like when I was homeless, I wanted to put down my feelings. By the way, for those who don't know, I'm gonna put it back again, but my dream come true. When I was homeless, I was writing my poems, recording them on my phone. And my dream was like one day when I survive homelessness, I'm gonna make a book out of them. I made my dream true. But the problem with this book is, by accident, I didn't know like it's going to be really big. So basically I'm just gonna correct it again and make it into a smaller book, and then it's ready to rock and roll. Basically all of these poems and feelings mingled. They're like happy ones, they're sad ones, they're depressed, very dark ones, obviously. I can't stop. I should move on from here. But anyways, you can go see my other books that I wrote. I'm gonna talk about this as well in this video, but yeah, if you want to support me, you can get my books from my website. But this book is still waiting. Astray in Dreams was called, because I came here as an immigrant in Australia and I had dreams. It's also a word for Australian dreams. Astray dreams. Astray in Dreams. This was like I was so lost in my dreams. But anyways, there's this one. Yes, finished with these. Right now we are going to fiction baby, fiction baby. Before going to fiction, let me finish with last three random miscellaneous ones. This is a very like funny book. It caught my eyes when I was getting out of a bookshop once. Make Grammar Great Again. It's really hilarious. Basically about learning about grammar using Donald Trump tweets. It's a really old book. I forgot, like it was like I think the first year where like Trump was president in the first year, but it's really hilarious. Crimes against the English language. But yeah, it's very funny. Let me find like one of the tweets, for example. Writer is teaching you how to use the three dots. I forgot what ellipsis. The dot, three dots, like you use when you write. Like here in this tweet, Trump used so many dots, like not only three. So basically she was teaching us by this, using that, which is hilarious. Yeah, I think ellipsis it's called or something. There's another thing, like another tweet where he was like using, I think 4 or 5 exclamation marks. And she was saying like, that's wrong. That's not how it's supposed to be like writing. Yeah, stuff like that. But it was funny, that's why I got it. There's this book I haven't finished reading and I don't really want to read. I don't know why I got it. I think that I got it when I first came here to Australia. I was so about Japan, but I was never about reading when I first came here. Yeah, but Cool Japan, it's a really old book, so I feel like even if whatever I see right now, like Japan right now, really changed. Life really changed from 2014. Yeah, since 2014 until now, so basically 10 years, Japan had really changed. Even TikTok was not a thing there. But still, it talks about basic beautiful Japanese like cultures and stuff and history. But yeah, I've never really used it, or before I wanted to spend a lot of money, I ran away and I was just like, oh, I have money, stuff like that. Anyways, there's another book that I wanted to read but I never was able to, because before, when I was homeless, I was so into jazz age. I loved like Dean Martin and Frank Sinatra. Funny story, I found this in a pop-up shop, but I didn't have the money to buy it. I struck a conversation with the guy, the owner of the pop-up shop, and we related because he was Arab, and to my surprise, he was very open-minded. And in the end, he gave me this book for free. It's basically like a documentary of Frank Sinatra, basically in a book, with pictures, rare pictures. They're telling his story since he was young. Since he was young, look, like rare pictures up until like he died. Look, rare pictures of him when he was young. Look at this. But I've never read it because back then I started to hate him, because for some reason I had the thing, like I was such a weird person. I didn't hate him, but I had the thing for people who always copied others. For example, my ex-friend loved the Beatles. And there was once upon a time, Dean Martin and Frank Sinatra were laughing about the Beatles. And I was like that. I was just like, like the Beatles are not real artists. They're just like youngsters who just became famous because they're good looking and shit. And then later, I started to see the same way about Frank Sinatra, because I learned that Frank Sinatra was basically a copycat. They called him a copycat because he was basically like singing other people's songs. He was basically overrated. Yeah, and I had the thing for overrated people. I don't know why, but yeah, that's it. And I lost my passion and my love for him. But before I was so obsessed. Look, he was young. But yeah, finished. Okay, right now, fiction, baby, fiction. Last and most exciting collection, short stories book. It's a beautiful book. I'm gonna put it down there. but it's just like short stories. I think 3 of them, and they're beautiful. But yeah, short stories. Alice in Wonderland, and yeah, and then the one that's like looking through the mirror that I've never actually read. Yeah, I don't know why I lost interest, but I should continue. I've forgotten about this. So when I bought this book, it came with this card that says like, next time bring this card and you get $5 off. Oh my goodness. That was even before I was gone homeless, because there was this next to me, a bookshop that I was frequented. It's called my bookshop, literally. Anyways, it's far away right now. I live in the city, and anyways, listen, Wonderland. This is a beautiful book as well, y'all. It's a short story. Amos Oz. I had like a fascination. I love his stories telling. It's like very dark, very like gothic fiction. I love it, but it's like it's like Alice in Wonderland, but like gothic feeling into it. I love it. Suddenly in the depths of the forest. It's beautiful. So basically, I think what I remember is like a bunch of kids go through a forest, I think they go through a forest, and then they find out the forest has talking animals. It's really, really good, really beautiful. And I don't remember anything of it. But right now, actually, oh my god, I miss reading. But yeah, that's that. To Kill a Mockingbird was a difficult read because my English was not Englishing. But I managed, and it's a beautiful book, and I'm so glad I'm finished with it. But yeah, very famous book. I think they made a film out of it. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Beautiful, beautiful book. This book had actually inspired far future fantasy, science fiction. Stupid me. A beautiful book. It's very, very interesting. So people get into this, what do you call it? I forgot. This like underwater ship. I forgot what it's called. Really interesting. And it's really beautiful. And it's really scary. In a good way. Beautiful, 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 beautiful book. If Cats Disappeared from the World. Oh my goodness, this beautiful, beautiful book. Look at like kitty. Oh man, Japanese people are the best writers. They have beautiful imagination. So basically, this story is also beautiful and funny, but also has a lot of advice, life lessons. I mean, basically, it's about a guy who is going to die. He's got like a cancer. What would you sacrifice for an extra day of life? I think I remember that. I remember, but it's really, really good. It's basically the devil comes to him and wants to basically take his life in the end. But as the guy sacrifices, like how do you say, exchanges things. For example, he exchanged time just to get another day, 1 day extra, and then he sees how life is like without time, for example, is really, really good written, well written. It's actually very funny, and it's it's beautiful. In the end, he learns a lot, and I think in the end, he finds out he's not sick. I don't remember properly, but what I remember, it's really, really funny. Like sometimes when he comes back home, and he sees the devil. The devil is like basically like sometimes wearing, like a holiday, like a vacation shirt. It's like he went to Hawaii or something. It's really, really funny. And like the way the devil's talking is always like, hey dude, stuff like that. It's really, really funny. For example, like at some point, the main character just named him Aloha. So it's just like, when I got home, Aloha was waiting for me, sporting a big grin. He gave me a wink. And with that, made movies disappear. Yeah, so the next thing was going to disappear was movies. It's really, really interesting. But yeah, this book, and teaches you a lot about living. The next one is a beautiful book. Oh my goodness. Grief is the Thing with Feathers. I also forgot what it was about, but it was really, really beautiful. I think it was about a crow that can talk, which I think was inspired by, I forgot his name. How can I forget his name? But yeah, very interesting book. It was really beautiful, but I don't remember why. It was really good that I actually had to read it, the whole thing, at one go. Will You Please Be Quiet? It's also like a beautiful book by, like it's just short stories as well, by Carver. I'm gonna put it down below. But he's also a great writer. And Animal Farm. So homelessness with me. Look at it. Beautiful, beautiful. Kept me company. And oh my goodness, look at all of the stains and the thing it went through. And I used to ear them, but I don't do that anymore. Oh my goodness. Look. Like, I didn't even start. There's already a lot of writing. Oh my goodness, look. How can I show you? There's just a lot. There's a lot. Oh my goodness, look. There's also a drawing. I literally put a drawing. Is that a shack? I think it was a shack, but I do not know. Look. I used to like drink wine sometimes, to like buy myself a bottle of wine, very cheap wine sometimes, which lasts me for so long, and it's really bad because it goes bad. But yeah, I used to treat myself before. I don't drink anymore, but there's a number here for some reason. I don't know what it is. I'll never know. But yeah, really great. If you don't know, it's classic. I had the thing, which is a good thing. I had the thing where I really didn't want to be missing out as a reader. So I was basically reading a lot of classics, because I really wanted to, you know, like make up for all the years that I didn't read before. And I really wanted to, yeah, I was feeling like I was missing out. Sanshiro is a beautiful also Japanese novel by Natsume Sosuke. I don't remember. Yeah, oh my goodness, yeah, I remember. Beautiful Sanshiro. It's was settled in a where basically just right after the World War II finishes. So the storyteller, the main character, is telling you basically how life had been looking like, how different starting to change, like the Western life, and tells you about these, for example, sex workers, like Japanese sex workers starting to become more Western. It's very, very interesting. Three Musketeers was very, very difficult to finish, but I finished it finally. I finished it because I wanted to watch a movie, and right now I forgot to watch it, so I have to. But yeah, I think that's the movie that I wanted to watch. This is a great actor, by the way, I forgot his name. But yeah, I finally finished it. Done and dusted. Thick, big book. Finally, I feel very proud. The Hell of Evil Council is also a beautiful book, also fiction. It's also by Amos Oz, that I told you about, the guy who writes like gothic fantasy kind of fictions. It's beautiful. 1994, all beautiful, beautiful fucking book. Also riddled with, oh my goodness, there's so many underlined words. I can't believe that I just like, it's amazing. And you see how my English got so much better thanks to reading. I'm not even joking. I was a university student, okay? I was studying English literature, but that did not help my English at all. In the end, it was taking reading seriously what helped me. Dracula. I didn't enjoy this book because I was reading it for university. But I had to finish it. I had to read it because I had an exam happening, assignment, something. But it was very difficult for me. I had like mental problems. I couldn't go to class. I cried in class, so I went online. It was really, really difficult times in uni. And English was difficult as well and shit. But I passed, and yeah. This is the crazy thing. I passed with great credits, points. So if I actually took reading seriously when I was studying English literature, I could have done so much more. Like if I can go back in time, well, obviously I wouldn't, because right now I learned so much more about how to become a writer and what I want to write about. I don't want to, but if I had the chance to actually go again, another go for English literature, I would have got my hands on a lot of opportunities that helped me. But anyways, everything happens for a reason. So yeah, oh my goodness, the biggest, thickest book I've ever read, even thicker than Arabian Nights. But this is also from Haruki Murakami. I think the most recent book everybody was excited about, Killing Commendator. A beautiful, beautiful read. A lot of people were disappointed, but I cannot be disappointed. It's Haruki Murakami. It's a beautiful book. Look, it's very artistic. Let's start there, okay? Oh my goodness. Let me show you the cover. Look. What the fuck? It's so pretty. Also, it went through a lot because I was homeless. I still remember when I used to put it in the bag. Kept me company, but yeah. So I've done this with me. But it's a beautiful book. Artistic. Look at this art. Everywhere art. But yeah, also beautiful fiction about a guy who lives like alone in a white big castle of his own. Very mysterious guy. You can tell like it's inspired by Alice in Wonderland and I forgot. What else? Forget. Great Gatsby. Yeah, and something else. I forgot what. But it's beautiful. There's ghost something happening as well. It's a really, really beautiful read. beautiful book. And yes, just a few more to go. Don Kishan. I think I just reached here, but I forgot to finish it. About a guy who went crazy and he thinks that he's a knight, something like that. But yeah, basically a guy reads a lot. He read himself to craziness, to insanity, and then he just felt like, oh, he was going, like he's actually a knight or something. And he was like basically going through a journey, and it's really funny. But I don't think I've finished it actually. But yeah, Don Quixote, beautiful book. Look how pretty. Anyways, that's this book. Next would be Elephant, also short stories. Book of the same guy that wrote another stories, and I'm gonna put it down below. George Orwell, The Clergy's Daughter. Beautiful book, very fun, very beautiful. It's about a girl, a clergyman's daughter. She was talking about how life was very distressing and tiring, and then once upon a time, she one day wakes up and finds herself, I think, lost with like poor people or something. I forgot exactly what, but she was basically went through poverty. Oh man, my voice is gone. Yeah, she finds herself, in the end, she finds herself back to that life, and she was happy this time because she went through poverty and everything, and she was grateful for what she has that she was complaining about. So yeah, finished, and this is also a beautiful, I think this is a poetry book. Yeah, poetry book from a singer, an artist, singer, yeah. And very interesting like poems or thoughts. I have a thing about like when people or artists do drugs and like write or something. For like right now, not as much, but before I was really hated when like you have an artist, you know, does some like drugs, then paint something, whatever. I am more about having to access your feelings, your deep feelings, without the need of drugs. I don't know why I'm this kind of person. Probably it also has to do with why I wasn't able to make it as an artist. Meanwhile, all of these people who do drugs and, you know, splish splash or whatever, and people are like, you know, gratifying them. Meanwhile, people who really have something to say are being pushed aside. That's another reason why I'm getting basically angry. It doesn't matter. So yeah, poetry book goes with poetry actually, somewhere. Haruki Murakami again, Norwegian Wood, also beautiful, about a girl goes to like a mental hospital. In the end, I'm not gonna spoil it, but it's a beautiful book as well, done with. And Treasure Island, also finished with, it's a classic. This beautiful book I got, it's Barbed Wire and Cherry Blossoms. It's very interesting because it's a fiction, and it has a story to do with a Japanese soldier and falling in love, I think, with an Aboriginal woman, which is beautiful. I think so. That's why I remember. But it has to do with Aboriginals, as you can see, and Japanese cherry blossoms, which is beautiful. Yeah, but so I think remember that's a very beautiful read. But in the end, I remember I was really disappointed because it didn't make sense. Because basically the soldier was hiding alone for so long, and then suddenly when he went out, it doesn't make sense. It's not real because it was so rushed in the end. Like when he got out and people found him, he was suddenly like, you know, it's like when you suddenly go out to people since so many years by yourself, you would freak out. Like you want to be friendly, you know, but like she made the character like he wasn't like, there's nothing wrong. He was like he was like a social butterflies. He was like singing or whatever. And like people were coming around. Like it doesn't make sense. Just like reality wise, it didn't make sense. Like what happened to all of this reality, like the mental state of this person, right? Like it doesn't make sense. But anyways, it is what it is. But I enjoy it anyway. Camels and Motorcycles, also written by the Kuwaiti author that I read. The human rights activist that I talked about. I'm gonna leave also the book down below. It's also a fun read. It's a really good read actually. I was fascinated. It's also shown light about things I didn't know from my own home country. Because I was basically trapped in my own home. People were living and everything, and I was trapped like a fucking bird. But anyways, that's why I ran away. Last Fiction is a beautiful book as well. The Translation of Love. I don't remember exactly, but it's really, really beautiful. I think also to do with the time after like World War II, and you know, Japan's trying to heal. but also there's like the Western influence coming in, and there's a lot of depressing stories. Like I remember there's like this restaurant that I think a restaurant that didn't have customers, so the owner was always drinking and it's like very thin, and there's like a rape scene and stuff. It's a beautiful book though. Yeah, it's a good read. I think it's to do also with somebody writing letters back and forth. It's a very beautiful book. Man, there are a lot of books missing. I remember that I have Memories of Geisha. Oh yeah, oh my goodness, I had like a bunch of books that I gave away for free. Good on them, whoever I gave it to. But anyways, yeah, these are the last books that I want to read that I haven't finished reading. Absolute Happiness, I found it for like $2, I think. Yeah, it was back before COVID lockdown. There's a lot of these shops, just open shops like outside. But yeah, somebody was selling these like random used books. There's Charles Dickens' Great Expectations. I couldn't finish it. I lost interest because I was reading it for university, so I lost interest, and it's very hard to get back to right now. But right now that I healed from university, I guess I can try to read it again. So yeah, Waiting, Pride and Prejudice, also I couldn't finish because I was reading for university, didn't enjoy it. I hated university. It was trauma as well in its own way. The Greek myths, I was really trying my hardest to learn, like literally had notes. Really wanted to learn and remember all of the Greek gods and like their story and everything. So I couldn't finish this book. Still waiting. A lot of books to read. Thick book. This is probably even thicker from the Haruki Murakami one. Atlas Shrugged. I wanted to read this because the North Korean girl who wrote In Order to Live, she recommended this book, Atlas Shrugged, and the Communist Manifesto. But I couldn't get into them because they're difficult books. But yeah, she was talking about Karl Marx stuff, and I don't even remember what Karl Marx stuff is about, but I do remember that's to do with Marxism, something to do with that. But I want to get back to reading difficult books, man. Until one. There's this book I haven't even finished, or I don't know where I got this book from. Probably a second-hand shop. It's called Stoner, or probably a free book I found. Yeah, I don't know what it's about. I don't know anything about it. But John Williams is the writer. But yeah, this is it so far actually. That's what I know. Yeah, the last things are just my own books. Just want to show you, I guess. This is the first copy of The Homeless Photographer, because I wanted to see how the book looked like. But look at the cover, was really, really dark. And yeah, I fixed it basically. Look at the difference. But yeah, I'm very thankful for the people who got the copy of Homeless Photographer. If you want to get yours, go to my website. Basically tells you my story, for like introduction on why I went homeless, and talks about the book Animal Farm, about like the time I was homeless, and also it tells you why I wrote this book and made this book and the idea of it. And basically then it shows you the pictures I took when I was homeless. I was like alone with the camera as my companion before we were parted by hunger, and then depression fell. Anyway, so yeah, I was taking pictures alone. Like the camera was my only friend. Look at these beautiful pictures. We have a pretty big pictures that I took. They were very beautiful and lively, but in the end I realized that the pictures are actually showing me, lonely person. There are a lot of pictures to do with company, for example, so I put them like in different parts. There's this part about time, so as you can see, everything to do with time. All the pictures that to do with time that are put there that I took when I was homeless. And then there is pain. There's also hunger, literally like food, my apple. Yeah, things like that. Anyways, that's it. If you want to help me and support my story, you can get on my website. But yeah, The Homeless Photographer, that's actually a portrait of me when I was homeless. I always was like on a tram back and forth where I slept because it was warm. Look how tired I was. But yeah, like before me when I sat in the seat, there's always like a mirror kind of thing. So I grabbed the camera and I took a picture of myself. Portrait of me when I was homeless. And another book I'm very proud of, Mensi, the Starving Artist exhibition catalog. Basically it's an exhibition of my paintings that I made from homelessness until this point right now. And that's a pretty book that I crafted from head to toe, like all my other books. It starts also with the introduction about me, why I made this book. And it literally tells you about each painting from homelessness and the story behind each one. And then up to the point I solved homelessness. But it's very, very beautiful. If you want to support me, please go to my website. There's this painting, Tsunami, is the most famous one, that I made upon a mental breakdown. I was homeless. I lived in a place where people were breaking the windows, harassing me. People tried to break in to rape me. But yeah, this is Tsunami, the painting, still sitting around somewhere. But it's my dream that I make this book going to be in bookshops, and this artworks are going to be an actual exhibition, and the book will be in display for people to find. But yeah, I made this whole cover by myself. This is like different 3 paintings I merged. Mensi means forgotten or abandoned in Arabic. There's this book that I took down. I'm not gonna tell you anything about it. I went insane. I had like a very bad mental breakdown, and I wrote this book, so I put it down. I'm probably gonna bring it back at some point. But it's basically a small version of a memoir, because I was contemplating suicide and I just wanted to put my story out there, so I made this book. But I feel so much better right now. Anyways, this book also shows you some snippets when I back home. Yeah, I always throw something like like somebody hanging themselves, people like shooting themselves, killing themselves, a poor hungry person. This is the room that I lived in. There's like the barred windows. There's always a cat comes to see, just, I don't know, hangs out. But yeah, as you see, there's like literally a bar in my window, so I don't like run away. So basically I was literally living in a prison, my own room. Anyways, that's it. So these are my books. There's so many other books that I've read that I think my Goodreads, I've put them there as like read, but I don't have them as copies for some reason. I probably got lost as I moved in here and there, and I was homeless. But oh my goodness, my voice is gone, and I'm gonna chill. If you hang out with me until this point, thank you. Go to my website and do help me, and stay tuned for new books to come, baby. I'm not finished, okay? I'm gonna go out there and make it rain, baby. We're not finished. These two, they're gonna get what they deserve. I'm gonna make it, because in the end, like, even if nobody in the end literally didn't want to take my books for whatever reason, I'm gonna busk, and when I'm busking, people are gonna buy them, baby. I'm not gonna still I'm gonna win in the end. I'm gonna make it. I deserve it. I've seen so many stories, people who have gone through 10% of what I've gone through, and they were glorified. So what about so much more have got to tell the world? So anyways, I'm gonna sort them, and I'm gonna say goodbye, and my voice is gone, as you can see. I'm gonna chill, and see you in the next video. Bye bye. Go check out my website.